This module will explain how to grind a vertical surface adjacent to and immediately following grinding a horizontal surface. The procedure covered is one that makes it unnecessary to change the position of the workpiece. The machinist is not called upon to grind a vertical surface as often as he is to grind a horizontal one. But on occasion, it will happen, and when it does, he must use all his skill in making the setup. The first attention must be given to the workpiece. The corner between the adjacent horizontal and vertical surfaces must be relieved in order to provide clearance for the edge of the grinding wheel. Select the proper grinding wheel for the job and mount it on the grinder. True and dress the wheel. Instructions for this operation have been given in another module. Place the workpiece on the chuck. Use a protective sheet of paper between the chuck and the bottom of the work. After the chuck has been energized, set up a dial indicator and align the work surface, the surface to be ground, so it is parallel to the travel of the table. Lower the wheel until it just clears the top of the horizontal surface that will be ground first. Using the cross-feed hand wheel, move the work toward the wheel until there is approximately 50 thousandths between the wheel and the vertical surface of the work. Note, the wheel must be positioned so that the edge extends beyond the relief in the corner of the work, but does not touch the vertical surface. Set the table trip dogs. Adjust the crossfeed so that the wheel will work out towards the open end of the work. This is important, otherwise the wheel will hit the vertical surface. Start the spindle and lower the wheel to spark contact the work. Move the table to the right or left until the work is clear of the wheel. Then set the vertical feed hand wheel to 0. Lower the wheel 3 to 5 thousandths for a rough cut. Turn on the coolant and start the table. Rough, then finish grind all horizontal surfaces. Remember to always start each new cut at the inside of the work, next to the vertical surface. Clean off the chuck and install a dressing diamond on it. For this example, a horizontal dresser is being used. Relieve the side of the grinding wheel. Start at a point about 1/16 of an inch from the outer edge of the wheel on the grinding side and go high enough to permit the wheel to clear the surface of the work you are going to grind. Reset the table reverse dogs to allow for a 1-inch clearance of wheel travel at either end of the workpiece. Move the workpiece close to the side of the wheel that you have dressed. Carefully lower the wheel so it clears the horizontal surface by about 50 thousandths. Remember, this surface has already been ground, and you must not allow the wheel to touch it. Set the table so it will travel very slowly. Set the table crossfeed to take off 1/2 thousandth on each pass. Turn on the grinding wheel. Feed the workpiece very carefully into the wheel until you see a tiny spark as it touches the vertical surface you are grinding. Start the coolant and turn on the table feed. Rough grind to remove enough material from the workpiece to bring the vertical surface to within about 1/1000th of what you want the finished piece to be. After this part of the operation, you may have to dress the side of the wheel again. If you do, just use an abrasive stick dresser and give the side of the wheel a light touch. After the wheel has been checked, and if necessary, dressed again, set the table feed so the grinder will take off no less than 1/10 of a thousandth or more than 3/10 of a thousandth each time it makes a pass. Make the finish passes required. Note, on many machines, the crossfeed will have to be operated by hand. Measure the workpiece while it is still on the chuck, and if it's within the specs you want, remove the work from the chuck and clean up the machine.